list goes on. And he turned red as a beet. I said, you haven't even looked at the computer to see if I have these grades. But I would like you to look at the computer and look at her grades and look at my grades. So he looked at her grades, he looked at my grades, and he looked at me and he said, oh my God, you have a 4.0 grade average. I go, yeah. So now can I ask you again? You see, in my mind, I wasn't going to take that. In my mind, I wasn't going to take that, right? So you have to realize what you are being. And so I was being, and I thought, and he looked at me and he goes, He goes, you can be over there. He goes, he pulled out all the applications, gave it all out to me, and I applied, and I got accepted to 5 colleges. But my daddy wouldn't let me go past San Diego. So I went into San Diego State, and not only did I go into San Diego State, I went in as a double major. I went in as a dance major and as a business major. I was one of 5 Latinas in the business school, School of Business. One of the best schools in the nation, San Diego State. I was one of 5 Latinas there. Who was I being? Who was I being? I was being that successful person that I wanted to be. I carried myself successfully. So that's why your thoughts create your beliefs, and your beliefs create your reality. I thought about it day and night. I believed that I could. So that became my reality. Because I was a double major 6 years later, I had the I had it in my hand. Right? I had the diploma. So anybody can be anything they want to be if they truly begin here to analyze the thoughts. That's what yoga tells us. Analyze your thoughts. Don't be analyzing everybody else, criticizing everybody else, looking for everybody else. Here is where you start. Notice how many times you judge people down. Bring it back and know that here is where it starts. If you are judging, others will judge you. You see, yoga is about what you do unto others, whether it comes from your thoughts, whether it comes from your beliefs, whether it comes from your words, whether it comes from your actions. Do not judge other people. And if you do, write it down. Whoa, I was in judgment. Begin to notice your thoughts. What kind of thoughts do you have? That's your homework. For 10 days, and I'm going to write it right here, for 10 days, because 10 is my favorite number, you're going to write 10 thoughts. So at the end of that assignment, how many thoughts will you have written down? Simple math. 10 days, 10 thoughts a day. Ooh, maybe I should teach algebra here. Wow. 10 days, 10 thoughts a day. How many thoughts? 100. You guys are looking at me going, 100? You're questioning me. All right, let's get strong about this. 10 days, 10 thoughts a day. Woo! Boy, that was tough. Right? All right, so in your notebook, it's going to look like this. You're going to put the date. So today's date is the 3rd. So you're going to put September 3rd, and you're going to write 10 thoughts. Now, let me tell you how your thoughts work, because thoughts are energy. If you sit down and say, okay, I got to do my yoga homework. I'm going to write 10 thoughts. and you sit down and wait for those thoughts to come, they ain't coming. That's not how thoughts work. That's not how energy works. See, energy flows all the time, right? So that means that this journal that I told you about becomes your companion. It becomes your companion. It goes with you everywhere. It sits in the seat next to you while you're driving, because I guarantee you, you have thoughts. Do you know how many thoughts a day? It has been measured. How many thoughts a day a human brain has, approximately? 1,000. 0? A billion. 10,000. You guys have anywhere from 600,000 to 1,000,000 thoughts a day. Let me ask you the question. How many of those are you aware of?
10%.
About 10% if you're lucky, right? The truth is you're aware of less than 5%. Less than 0.5%. Excuse me, less than 0.5%. You are aware less than 0.5% of the day. So this is why this exercise is so important, because we cannot begin to get our body, mind, and spirit into alignment until we know what's happening here. And most of those thoughts are sabotaging you. And it sort of starts innocently. It starts like this. You talk to a friend, you say, hey, I think I'm going to join the football team. Right? And then what happens?
You get cut.
Well, no, what happens is you begin to doubt yourself. Then it's like, oh man. And then you tell somebody and they say, oh man, you don't have what it takes, man. You're not big enough. You're not fast enough. You're not. And your mind says, you're right, I'm not. Even though outwardly you'll say something like, man, you don't know nothing. The truth is, in here, you're buying into that. You're buying into that. And when you buy into that, guess what? That thought you just bought into becomes your belief, and that belief creates your reality. So it's time that we start thinking, or that we start actually being aware of our thinking and how that thinking has stopped us. Do you imagine, had I really thought that I was supposed to be a secretary, man, I wouldn't be making very much money right now, because I would suck at typing, I'd hate my job, and I'd be miserable. So I was strong enough to know that was not my reality. That wasn't going to be my reality. My reality was that I was going to be a college graduate. And not only a college graduate, I was going to have multiple degrees. And guess what? To this day, I do have multiple degrees. And I'm a PhD dropout. I have 2 master's degrees. I'm a PhD dropout. But by the age of 75, I will have my PhD. Right? Why? Because I want to be one of the oldest people in college. Right? And so that's just me. But I've always had a strong mind. And because I have a strong mind, it comes back to bite me in the butt. Because I know I could be way more successful if I didn't listen so much to that critical voice inside my head that controls my thoughts, which is the one that many religions have called by other names. But let me give you, I'm a Catholic, it's called Satan. The actual, if you look up the word Satan, the actual definition, how many Catholics do I have in here? Right? The actual word Satan is actually crazy thoughts. Right? You go back to the roots, and it's actually crazy thoughts. But some artists depicted this as an ugly monster, right? And that